How's everybody doing today? Make sure you guys grab one of these flyers, whatever we call it, packets for today. So we got a busy day. Appreciate everybody coming today. I got a couple of things I want to talk about, share about the division, some of the division complaints. So let's get started. So everybody sees the numbers. The vacancy rate stayed the same, about 47%. The inventory, the available for the inventory has gone up to 3.2. It was 2.89, I think, last week. 3.1, some of that, so we got more inventory. We've got about 300 more homes on the market. Make sure you're keeping an eye on that. I had sold a client a home probably 10 years ago or maybe longer, and they want to sell the house. They're going to move to England. And so first thing I did was sat down and explained the market to them, what's going on in the market, because they don't know. They hear the news or whatever they're talking about. So I made sure I went through the numbers with him so he's got a better understanding. Do we want to overprice the property? No. Because I showed him right here. I said, look at all the price reductions. Do we want to overprice it so you stay here, or do you want to sell it and get to England where you want to be? So that's the thing we got to make sure we're doing. And so when I explained the numbers to him, he understood. Then I explained to him exactly the new process, right? Because he's still thinking we don't have to pay buyer commissions. So I explained to him how all that works. So you guys to make sure that we are the source of the source in this instance, and we're explaining what's going on in our marketplace right now. Because it definitely means things that are going on. Because I told him, I said, just so you know, I work for 3%. We'll negotiate the buyer's side based on the commission that based on the price that they put an offer in, right? Because the last time I sold, we did that exactly. They came in not low, but lower, but we could work it out where we only paid the agent 1%. Their buyers made up the difference, and the deal was still doable, right? We negotiated 1 free month of rent, so the seller could stay there at no cost. That was another $2,500 added to her bottom line. And so when you look at it this way, you can make the numbers work, you guys, but I don't think we spend enough time really ourselves, going over the numbers. So make sure we're doing that. We're gonna do a lunch and learn Wednesday I'm not here, I'm sorry, it's gonna be on Zoom. Heather's not here today, she had surgery on her foot on Friday, so she's not gonna be on. So anyways, make sure you're taking care of that. Brian's not here yet. Let's bring up Lisa Waldeck. Come on, Lisa, give her a big hand. She brought the lovely food, and I seen her making it right here. She was cutting all the stuff up. Oh my goodness. Yeah, she did it all right here. I think she made the donuts. She just put them in the.
I put the donuts in a box. Yes, I did that. But no, the yogurt parfaits are nice and fresh.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I think everybody got one. Happy Easter week. Give me a theme, give me a holiday, and I'm gonna go all in. So everybody got some peeps and all that fun stuff. Yes. So like it says, for peeps' sake, don't forget the chosen home warranty on your listings and for your buyers. I'm gonna talk about it again because I think it's really important. If you're not using listing coverage on your listings, you need to be. We are hot, it's already 90 degrees. We know it's going to be 100, 110, 120. If anybody was at LBR last week, they had the water authority in, and it was a really great 90-minute presentation. If you guys ever get an opportunity to sit through that water authority presentation, the information is just priceless. They were talking about the weather and how just because of climate change and everything else, we're only going to see the weather getting hotter each and every year. So when you consider last year how hot it was, he felt that was probably not going to be the hottest summer we ever see. So it's brutal. But when you guys have those home inspections on your listings, 99% of the time when it gets to be 100 or more, there is no air conditioning unit that's running properly. The home inspector will always make a note on there, the differentials are off, have it checked by a qualified HVAC person. You can actually use the listing coverage to get an HVAC person out there, check it out, see what's going on. Most of the time it's a bad capacitor. We can fix that. That's a $350, $400 part. It's a leak in the refrigerant line. We'll actually fix the line, whatever's causing the leak, and refill it with the refrigerant that it's low. Again, when you have to go back to your seller and tell them it's gonna cost maybe another $300 to $700 in repairs, when you could have saved them that much money, you guys will look like the hero. It only costs them the $150 deductible. So again, nobody wants to put any more money into a house that they have for sale. So it really is wonderful. The best way that you can explain it whenever you go on that listing presentation is when you're doing your net sheet, you're putting in a line item for HOA demand, HOA resale package, potential repairs, closing costs. Stick a line item in there for home warranty and tell them that more than likely they're going to receive an offer from a buyer asking for them to pay for a home warranty. You've already put it in their mind. If you don't mention it up front and they get an offer with a warranty and it's $700, $800, $900, that's the first thing they're gonna counter out because they weren't expecting it and it's affecting their bottom line. So educate them as much as you can. I've got brochures over here. You guys can stick those in your listing presentations and your buyer presentations. If they have any questions, that's my cell phone, that's my email. Have them call me. I'm happy to go over any coverage or any questions that they might have. If you guys need anything, let me know. I know I'm seeing a lot of it lately where you're negotiating concessions for your clients and getting closing costs or whatever, and there's only so much money that the lender can use sometimes, and there's extra money. If you have extra money, don't let it go back to the seller. Don't let it go back to the builder. Call me. We can do a 12-month, an 18-month, a 24-month, or a 36-month warranty to use those funds and get your client protected. So I'm available if you guys need anything. I'm always around, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And that's a great idea about using extra money. Because a lot of times the buyers think, well, there's $500 extra, I can just keep it. No, you don't. It goes back. So make sure they understand that. It was really funny because that house I told you guys I sold, it closed a week ago. Actually, it closed a month ago. She moved out on Friday. She wanted to take the washing machine and dryer with her. And I said, leave the washing machine and dryer. She wanted to take it to Ohio. Okay. When they took the washing machine and dryer out, they unscrewed the deal. Guess what happened? Leaked down the wall. Had to have a plumber come out, put 2 new air valves in, and fix the wall. $800.
Oh, wow.
She could have left the washing machine and dryer and bought a new one for $800. Okay, and I was like, I didn't say, I told you, even though I wanted to, leave it, right? So, anyways, just please make sure you're taking care of that. So, a couple things while we're here. I got Chio here, but I want to talk a couple things about division complaints and restitutions. So we have a Patrick Allison, alleged violated NRS 645-235 for knowingly assisting his expired license in committing unlicensed activity during the real estate transaction for the property. So we got a broker, we have an agent whose license expired, the broker helped finish the deal, and then guess what? Paid the agent. Who, now, I don't know all the specifics on this particular one. Did they get their license reinstated or did they go out? So, so what they did, they charged the broker $3,000 plus $5,000 in commission benefits and $1,300 in division costs. So that's why we have it, guys. Right now, so has everybody in this room paid their LVR dues? Okay, we have probably, well, a week ago, we had 25 that have not paid their license dues yet.
They like pay late fees?
Yeah, I guess.
Crazy.
It's the, listen,
crazy.
you don't even know how,
That's
I was gonna
nice.
use that, silly it is, okay? It's like school kids. I mean, it's unbelievable. Yeah, you're gonna pay $50, and by, Katie, I think it's Thursday. If they haven't paid, we have to send their license back to the division. And if they've got anything in transaction, Jeff's keeping it. Jeff's gonna finish the deal and he's gonna keep the money. So you gotta keep in mind this. Here's a girl, Allison, not the same, I hope not the same anyways. Allegedly, pursuing our 645-260, when they offered, attempted, agreed to do, and or otherwise engage in the business of property management, rental, and or lease thereof for another or others in Nevada without a licensee, either directly or indirectly. How do you fill that out? Well, come here, let's down. Are you proud? No, but I'll tell you, I'm a realtor, I know everything. Put this, put that, do this, do that. Or indirectly, through their cleaning service, okay? For compensation and expenses. Let's see, so they fined her, $4,000 in court costs and $2,500 fine, and you have to do CE classes, that you don't get any credit for. Let's see, here's another one, bottom presumed, when they are attempted to agree to do property management without a license, directly or indirectly. So when you guys call me and say, hey, what should we do here? I've got a client that wants to rent a house, and I'm gonna help him fill out the contract. Okay, sure. $7,000 fine. Well, you did make $300, so it's worth it. I get it, I understand. Let's see here, filling, this is another one with, a lot of times, you know, if you're doing property management, that's why we don't allow it, you have to do every reconciliations of your accounts. Here they didn't do it, several of them, there's several in here that did this one. Let's see, this one, Carol Ann Greco, let's see, 645, 630, pursuant to NAC, for dealing in a deceitful, fraudulent, and/or dishonest manner by failing to do her utmost to protect the public against fraud, misrepresentation, and unethical real estate practices when she knowingly and repeatedly signed her client's name electronically multiple times during the 2-year period the property was on and off the market. Okay? Now, I say this because we, Katie, Mackenzie, compliance, we don't make the rules. The division does. We are tasked with following them. Now, when you guys get something and it says, hey, you need to initial, you gotta do this, and then you have a come apart, how dare you ask me to make this contract correct? You're out of your mind. You need professional help. I'm never gonna do it. You can kiss my backside. And we've had them say them exact things to these girls, but they don't feel they should have to do the contract correctly. Okay, tell you what we'll do. I'll waive it. Guess what, KJ? The division doesn't waive it. Hey, but my broker waived it. I don't give a shit. $7,000 fine, $5,000 in court costs, and you're gonna take 12-hour CE classes that don't count. Is that a problem? I mean, look at this one. I can't make this stuff up. Here's one, another one fell into the administrative stuff. Let's see here. Submit another form. Knowingly, here's the guy right here, got fined, let's see. Anna Marie, for knowingly performed unlicensed activity during the entire real estate transaction for the property. Knowingly, $5,000 fine, $1,100 in court costs. This is I'm pretty sure it's a broker, I'm pretty sure, Spencer Walden, does anybody know, is he a broker? Yeah, the name sounded really familiar to me as well. Allegedly for knowingly assisting his expired licensing committee, unlicensed activity during the real estate transaction for the property alleged, demonstrated lack of established policies and procedures. That's why we have policies and procedures, right?
He is a broker.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was, yeah. Allegedly violated 645-280 for offering, promising, allowing, giving, and or paying directly or indirectly any part of a share of his commission to his agent for acting as a real estate licensee in a transaction while the agent did not hold an active real estate license. All right, let's see what they did. They revoked his individual license, they revoked his broker's license, they revoked his property management license. They also, the agent, they revoked his as well. $5,000 fine, $2,500 commission, and another $3,000 in division court costs. Well, I mean, listen, they did make $4,000. I don't know about that. I don't know how you do that one. This one I'm not going to get too deep in because look at this. And then on the next page, it goes right here, and I went through this one. Next page, this guy, and right here is his partner. Yeah, that's his partner. Thomas Buckner, Randy Paul Cuvera, and they all acted it, doing their thing. Let's see, here's another one for failing to account for and remit her client's rental and security deposit on 7 accounts, for failing to provide a written response to the division on 5 counts, $120,000 fine. $7,000 in court costs. All licenses and permitted have been revoked. And you want to get into property management? It's a lot of fun. Guys, that's the stuff that goes on in this business. It's crazy. Let's see here. Michael David Torty allegedly pursues her by engaging in gross neglect and or incompetence by failing to do his utmost to protect the public against fraud, misrepresentation, or unethical practice related to real estate when he failed to abide by the terms of the February promissory note. Alleged violated NRS 645, 633, 645, 605, by willingly and unknowingly engage in deceit, fraudulent, and dishonest dealing when he failed to abide by the terms of his February 2023 promissory note. Alleged violation 645, 633. But guys, when there's a division complaint, they find as many statutes as they can. And that I'm reading, like I said, I'm only touched on a couple of them, but it gets crazy. Let's see, by willingly engaging, no engaging, deceitful, fraud, dishonest, and misleading, regard to significant exemplary deeds of trust and notes prepared by the respondent rather than by the trustee. He's a realtor. We can do trustee documents, not a problem. We got it. We know everything. I had an agent call me the other day and say, hey, they want to do a for sale by owner. And is there a problem if I draft it? Well, I don't know. Have you ever done one? No. I did Google it. I got a book, Drafting for Sale by Owners by Dummies. I said, how about you get an attorney involved? Well, that's going to cost money. Yeah, I agree. You know when a for sale by owner goes sideways, who do they blame? The real estate. Somebody dropped $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $80,000 and it goes sideways, they blame the real estate agent now. Get an attorney, the buyer pays for it. That's who pays for it, right? And I said, I strongly recommend you don't do it in an email. So when she does it and it goes sideways and I'm at the division, Jeff, what'd you do? I told her you need to get an attorney involved. Guys, I don't make this stuff up. That guy, they fined him $7,000 and he voluntarily surrendered his license. Nice guy. So, you guys, I always like to just go over a couple of them because I really want you to get an idea of what goes on. And a lot of these guys, people are just trying to make a living and do their business. They're not trying to screw somebody. What's that line we talk about? No good deed goes unpunished. And that's some of the stuff that happens right there. Some of them are willfully, it's fraudulent. But I told you, in talking with Lee Barrett, the number one rule, the number one thing that they give people a fine for in the division is the duties owed. Did you use reasonable skill and care when you did a probate deal for the first time? Well, have you ever done a probate? No. I did watch a video on it. Oh, okay, good. Did you use reasonable care and diligence when you did a, whatever it might be, short sale, for code, whatever it is, right? Make sure you guys, stay in your lane. If you don't know what you're doing with it, give it to somebody, get a referral and keep moving your business that direction. I get it. We get tied up in the money, we want to make money, and we keep going out in our mindset. I understand that, guys. Trust me, I know. All right, let's move on. So let's do this. Let's go back here. Let's bring up Chia with Corefact. Has anybody ever used Corefact besides me? Say good, a couple people. Katie, we might need your help. All right, so we're going to hook your computer up to this. Move that out of the way. That. Plug yours in. Has that got enough power and everything? You don't need power? I'm good. Okay, cool. Okay. Move this out of the way there. You know, I love it when you see people on the computer do this stuff. I'm going. Yeah. Come up. See, I wouldn't even know how to do that. Good job. Yeah. He's also brought some materials over here, you guys, as well. There it goes. Okay, you're in now. Yep, cool. All right, guys, give him a big hand again. Sorry about that.
Hi guys, my name's Chio with Corefact. I've been with Corefact for probably about 20 years. I'm the VP of Creative Services for Corefact and manage probably 12, 13 designers in the company. And what I do is I help agents grow their brand and their business. It's what I do every single day. That's what I do. A little bit kind of give you an idea of just how much postcards we've sent out for realtors in my past 20 years. Probably about 500 million postcards. So we know a lot about farming. I'm going to try to give you guys tons of insight about farming, about postcards, responses. But in this presentation, you can interrupt me anytime if you have any questions, okay? So feel free to where you guys can find us, I believe it's the one login. You go to the website here, click on marketing, and also just click on our icon or logo. If you're placing your first time order with us, we have a promo code RLG first 10. That'll give you 10% off up to $50 off. We have all your branded products on there, business cards, postcards, brochures, and things like that. When you're exploring that site, make sure you take advantage of a couple features that we have. One of them is our autofill feature, which basically you can enter an MLS number and it'll self-populate that postcard with the property information as well as photos and stuff like that. So you'll save tons of time by doing that. A couple reasons why I think a lot of people use Corefact, and obviously you could go to any printer and just Control P, Command P sounds really simple and easy. But a lot of people I think use this for three things here: leads, listings, and luxury. We're gonna talk about three of these things because I think it's pretty important. How much, as far as response rates when it comes to postcards, what do you guys think the response rate is for, let's say if you were to send out regular postcards and the call to action is, give me a call for a free market analysis of your property. Or it's something like, give me a call if you know someone's looking to buy or sell. What do you think the response rate's there on a postcard like that?
1 out of 1,000.
Super low. It's 0.47%. 0.47%. So think about this. If you send out 100 postcards, you'd be lucky to get anyone to call you. Okay? That's what we call the old school printing. There's technology now. It's 2025. No one calls anyone. Seriously, you send someone a postcard, I'll text them first before I call them, right? So we have a really good lead generation system, and I'm gonna get you guys to actually experience it yourself, so that way you guys can see what happens. The other thing is also listings. You know, out here in days on the market, I've noticed more and more people come to me and they go, hey, my listing's about to expire. I need help. And the first thing I ask them is, well, what'd you do? And they say, well, I posted something on social media, and that was it. You know, this is all about macro neighborhood market. You gotta get more awareness and eyeballs on that property. So I've got a pretty cool strategy here that I work with a lot of my producing agents, and I kind of push all the time, and it gets tons of results with this thing. Okay. Last thing is the luxury things that we do. We just got into maybe more of the luxury market, and really, when I say get into the luxury market, I'm talking about having more capabilities to create higher end products and presentations. So I have a couple of samples over here. You guys can grab that later on as well. So now about leads here. We use dynamic trackable QR codes, which means that every postcard that we do, there's three things that we do to generate responses for you. The first thing, we use variable data. So all that data that you guys are getting from title, someone's name, whatever the case is, we're gonna put that name on that postcard. Second thing, the call to action is something about getting complimentary home estimate. And you can play around with the CTA. Now, a lot of times people say, hey, what is that call to action? Like I said earlier, it's give me a call, right? Imagine you do like a just sold card. And a just sold card says something like, hey, I just sold this house. Find out how much your house can sell for in today's market compared to this one. Scan this QR code to get a free complimentary home estimate, right? So, great call to action, things like that. And the reason we talk about the complimentary home estimate, if I'm thinking about selling my house, what do you think I'm thinking about? I want to figure out how much that home could sell for in today's market. That's it. You can provide any service, whatever the case is, but bottom line, that buyer, the prospective seller, that's all they're thinking about. How much can I get for my home today? That's it. If you want to take out your phone, you can actually scan the QR code. And if you scan the QR code, you can get kind of like this landing page that gives you like a home estimate. We are not like Zillow, okay? We're doing these estimates before Zillow was doing estimates. I know I can show you documents of how I was working with Zillow on some of this stuff. Our estimates are based off of county records, so data. But we give you a price range. You'll say something like between 800 to 850,000. There's tools on here for the homeowner to basically sliders they can play around with. Now, everything they're doing on that landing page and it's branded for you, it's gonna have your information on there, right? So the minute they scan that QR code, you as the agent will get a notification saying, hey, it looks like Chio from 123 Main Street got a free home valuation and responded to your marketing efforts. And here's his address. That way now you're empowered to do something, to actually follow up. Now this is the crazy thing. I was at Inman, I think, out here last year. Guess how many, what do you think the percentage is when it comes to agents responding to follow up, for leads to follow up with? 67% of leads never get followed up with by agents, which is a crazy stat. I mean, I can't stress that stat.
I'm surprised it's that high.
Yeah, it's pretty
I
high.
think
I think
it
a lot of it is
gotta be
because a
higher
lot
than
of people don't have the system behind it. See, when you say follow up and you get something like this, sometimes they don't want like the big brother, like, hey, give me a call, and it's like, hey, I got the phone number, call this guy up real quick. You gotta nurture that relationship, right? It takes time. And so that's why a lot of our things that we do with our postcard response, we're probably getting about 1 to 4% on average. And I've seen people get size like 12%, 16%. So you gotta work with title, you gotta check the turnover rate in that farm area. You gotta delete duplicates. You gotta also remove people that purchased in the last 6 months. Make sure you audit that list. That list is like a big deal. All your postcards should be going to relevant contacts, so that way you can maximize your marketing dollars. Like you said, people are looking to, stretch their marketing dollars as far as possible. So it goes all the way back upstream. It's not just at this point here. Okay.
Especially today's market, with title, you can pick and choose the day you want. I used these guys probably 15 years ago, and it was the whole neighborhood. We couldn't go be specific. Well, today you can be really specific on who you want to target, and that's the beauty about this right here is that you're advertising dollars.
Yep.
When my assistant Marine, when we get all back to the end of the month, all the ones that didn't get, that nobody got back to us, she'd go through it, take our list, audit it, and we'd take them out of our system. So we wouldn't keep sending them back to the wrong person. Or like you guys said, somebody in 6 months. That's why I think the trackable part is what is most important. You have to do your diligence to that side of it.
It's all about lead generation, right? But this is the whole thing. It's like also, here's the thing about follow-up too. And when you follow up with someone, you gotta be aggressive. You gotta ask for the business at this point. See, agents are really good when it comes to the face-to-face stuff. If I meet you guys, whatever the case is, you guys are great salespeople when it comes to that. The problem is we just gotta get that medium, right? So let's say someone sends that postcard out. We get that lead that comes in. That's great, I'm excited. I just want to send a follow-up postcard, a note card. One of the things I always tell my agents that I work with is, you want to see if you can get these guys to come face-to-face with you and set up this meeting. So here's an idea. You send a postcard that looks like this. Let's meet for coffee, right? And what you want to say is something like, hey, coffee's on me. I'd love to show you my marketing plan that's been netting my sellers great results in this challenging market. Coffee's on me, let's meet. And so it pops up like this, right? Great idea, start here. And something like this is pretty cool. But a lot of times you send a regular card, you're not gonna get the reaction. For us, we're trying to create things that generate responses. Handwrite this stuff out, that lead comes in, have it set it, just print it out, just send it out. Now you have a system in place. Now before, you'd just be like, I don't know what to send out. I don't know what to say, These are the type of things that we want to do to kind of elevate that brand experience. So when they're working with you on things like this and they're being prospected, you want to give them the best experience because that's a reflection of kind of like what your marketing's going to look like for these guys, right? So.
And the beauty about that little card right there is you're not going to send it to 500 people. It's only the people who respond.
Right. 6
people, 2 people, 4, whatever. So it's not like you're going to be sending all day long writing these out. Something like that, I think, an eye catcher, especially today. Got to be careful with that, not my phone, what you're doing.
Yeah. So, order stack was 25, 50. I mean, our minimum in the store is going to be like 25. So just have that ready. The other thing too is, if that lead comes in, you can also just, hey, lead comes in. It looks like Chio from 123 Main Street, responding to my postcard, and here's his information. Well, guess what you can do? Hit a send button right there, and we'll automatically send one for you. So we try to automate that as much as possible. So truly automate. Okay?
When you do that automation like that, is it, the handwriting look like somebody wrote it out?
Yeah.
Or is it, okay?
Yeah, we have fonts like that. We use what we call dynamic fonts. So if you ever used fonts before, right? And you think everyone uses this, what was it? Everyone used fonts before. If you type in a word like street, it has 2 E's on there, right? It's the same E. We use what we call dynamic fonts. Dynamic fonts, if you enter in a word in street, well, guess what? That other E is different. If you type in 3 E's, you get 3 different E's. And what I mean by that is we'll use like a calligraphy type of font. And once you start typing in words like that, it's all these little inconsistencies that make the font look real, like more genuine, right? So we use that stuff too. So it's a piggyback off of another company that used these robotic arms. You guys probably heard about it. It's
Joe Biden, is that one?
There you go. That's a good one.
Bazing!
All right, this is another program we have. This is our elite campaign. And this is a farming strategy. And I can't stress this enough about people, whenever people say talking about being consistent, like what does that really mean? You know? So like in a market like this is what happens every single year. Activity picks up at the beginning of the year. It's like a bell curve every single year. Spring's still in season, right? Summertime, people are moving, right? Families move, and it kind of slows down, right? This is it. Every single year, it's like that. What the elite campaign does is puts you in a developing habit of being consistent. Now, a lot of people go, oh, well, what's a good sized farm to mail to? What do you think is a good sized farm to mail to? That's going to be effective. Knowing the stats and some of the stuff, what do you think is going to be a good sized farm?
500?
So, minimum's going to be probably 500. And a lot of it is because when you think about this, the turnover rate 5% off of, let's just say, 200 homes, right? You got 10 opportunities. Like Jeff mentioned earlier, everyone knows someone who's like a realtor, friends and family. Half of those are gone. So that leaves 5. But guess what happens to the other 5? The agents that are the most consistent in that area with the biggest brand recognition is probably going to get 2 or 3 of those. It could be multiple agents. That means you're probably competing for probably like two opportunities. This is a game of numbers. You know, I work with a lot of agents where sometimes we start out with a farm of like 200-300. I tell them, hey, go work townhomes, condos. Those turnover rates on those are like average 4 years versus single family, and work that area for a little bit. And then what happens is you start growing that base a little bit, developing more brand influence, and then you start increasing the size of your farm. Some agents I start off with 300, farm 300. And I got guys that have mailed up to now thousands of that stuff. So this is something that's proven. I think a lot of it is just building a brand reputation. So this is what this program kind of does. I'll walk you through this so you guys can kind of visually see what I'm talking about here.
So I used to send out 500 a month. What I would do, we'd send out 200, 250, 300 to the neighborhood, and I would say 200 or 250 to my sphere of influence. So I want my sphere of influence to know that we're selling properties, we're still around, we're still relevant, we're still doing things. And I think that's one thing to do. One of our teams in this office used to send out about 2,500 a month. She only did 100 transactions a year, so I don't know if it actually worked. But she did, and then she stopped doing it for about 6 months, and her business dropped. She started picking it back up again. So again, is it for everybody? I don't know that it's not for everybody, but I think you need to learn and think about where you're putting your money at, because you can't come in here without spending money on advertising. I know a lot of agents try to do it. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, number 1 brand in the world, you can see the logo, but they still spend $100 million a year in advertising. Okay, so there's a reason why, you guys. We gotta make sure you're getting your name out there, because everybody knows a freaking agent.
Yeah. And invest in your business, a lot of people use social media. I think it's great, but it's not. I tell people all the time, likes don't equal clicks.
I don't know, is there a number on social media? Does it really, other than getting your name out there, but is anybody getting business out of it? You know anybody that's getting a ton of business out of social media? I don't know either. I mean, I hear it and I see it, and I think it's great, but I just don't know how many people are actually getting business from doing it. Like a TikTok video, yeah, you got 100,000 hits or whatever the hell it is, but did you get any money out of it? Did you make anything out of it? Yeah, you're popular on social media, so I don't know. It's a great question.
Yeah, it's what I call kind of like scattered marketing, because you can get with people from everywhere. If I want to market Summerlin, for example, are all those people following me in Summerlin? Probably not. I got people from Nevada, I've got people from Arizona that like my posts, whatever the case is. They're not out in Summerlin. Not that much, right? So Let me tell you about a little about kind of like talking stuff about just developing a brand, because I think a lot of people ask this question all the time. People go, "Oh yeah, I want to do more business." And this is the one question I ask people all the time. Why do you think you're not getting that business? Well, because they don't know you even sell real estate. How would they know to call you right now? This is why farming actually matters, right? So look at a postcard, something like this, okay? The agent's brand is here, right? It's you guys that's working that relationship. You guys probably need a little bit more brand influence. So kind of think about this and go, hey, what's my brand influence? Paying for these postcards, why is my marketing myself? I own that small set of real estate space on my postcard. What I'd like to do is really just try to emphasize that brand a little bit. Get your contact information, your photo, and put it onto what we call like a postcard shell. Kind of looks like that. Right? This is the thing that I say, tell people all the time. There's subliminal images that you're always passing through on that postcard. I tell people, hey, tie it into the community you market to. Don't just put some random background photo or whatever the case is. This is all about developing your brand over time. So let's say I might be working in an area like, let's say, Tahoe or something like that, could look something like that. Or working like, condos, I might take an interior shot in that area. Or working a beachfront property, obviously not out here in Vegas, but you get the idea. It's just to really tie you back into that community. So go out, if there's a landmark out there of that property or that space that you're marketing to, go out there and take a picture of that, trust me. The first thing people would think about is this person in this area, do they know this area really well? Earlier, those stats that Jeff brought up, days on the market, stuff like that, those are all hyper-local data that people would like to use and see all the time. And they start tying that up with like all your marketing pieces. And when you show that you're baked into that community and you show up with that listing presentation, those stats, they can see that link in that presentation. So that's the idea, to build that brand. But here's the other cool thing. We have a lot of what we call variable data, market updates. Used to be a pain in the butt. I used to work with agents, and the first thing they would say to me, I'm still working on that. I'm still working on that, right? I gotta get the sales thing. And here's the cool thing about our data. I get these cards all the time. I'm out in Henderson, and I get these cards all the time. And you know what's crazy about it? They spent all this time creating these stats, right? 5-4 combinations, 4-3 combinations, right? When I say that, 4 bedroom, 3 baths, 3 bedroom, 2 baths. I have a 5-5, right? I can't really look at a 4-3 combination. I can't really look at a 3-2 combination. It doesn't even match my home's characteristics. It doesn't give me an idea of what my home can sell for. We use variable data, we pull our data from county records. So let's say you own a 4 bedroom, 3 bath house. Your postcards are going to receive a set matching 4 bedroom, 3 baths sold around that area. So it's hyper-local market update report for that particular customer or that particular prospect. A neighbor that owns a 4-3, or a 5-4, they're going to receive their own set of comps. And this is the power of personalization. Personalizing those reports so everyone has a unique experience with your brand, right? What about other cards like this too? Holiday cards and things like that. The most responsive card for us is that home estimate card. I cannot stress that if you don't have a listing, that if you're looking to send out a postcard, this card gets you the best responses, right? As a matter of fact, we usually kick off our campaigns with this particular card because you're organically building those leads in that database. The minute they scan that, they're gonna get that data, that estimate report. Now for you guys that are actually investing in other areas of your business, like say social media, you wanna grow your following, right? How do you do that in a neighborhood?
Do you have a question?
Yeah.
The previous slide you were talking about follow-up, and say for example, you sent this postcard and somebody looked into that and you said you sent another postcard like with that copy, or like you would
A
rather.
follow, no card, yeah.
So the most agents you like talk to, what do they do like after somebody hit on the estimate? What do they do? Like they call, they email, they text, or what they do?
Well, the information you're gonna get from that lead is really just the address and the person's name. So at this point, you have to kind of nurture that relationship. Now before, you can actually set up our estimate page to require an email and a phone number before you actually get to see the estimate on the landing page. The only problem is you're just forcing someone to enter in more information that they're not gonna probably get into. So you're not gonna see the activity, you're actually putting a barrier up right now, right? So, and like I said, I think a lot of people, if you go through this process of building a relationship, the minute you get that phone number, you're not gonna call the person anyways, it's kind of big brotherish, right? So the best practice that I see a lot of people, they automate the system to the point where that person is reaching out to you, right? But you need that communication to be touching them throughout that process.
Okay, so that person who received it, start getting more of it.
Yeah, and I think it is, because it's never gonna be one of those things where I send a postcard and I expect a deal from it. I think you still gotta nurture that relationship, right? So, you just need multiple touch points, yeah.
How many times do you get on a site that they want all your information and you start it and you're like, shoe size, sure, all right, I've had enough, get out of here. Even though you wanted the information, that's exactly what everybody does, you guys, we're all on the same, we do the same thing, the least amount of information ever is what they want. Otherwise, you're not gonna do it. I do it all the time, I'm like,
I guess-
my name, okay, got a shirt size, what color's your favorite color? Your dog, you like, done, I'm out, I'm left.
I guess what is probably the best thing when it comes to clicking through on something, when it comes to like a CTA? Free. People love free. So the minute you say free, they're gonna be taking some action. Now here's something also, like I mentioned before, we have trackable QR codes. It goes to the home estimate. But let's say, for example, you're doing a just listed postcard and you have a single property website. You just spent tons of money on great photos, Matterport, whatever the case is, right? And you go back to the seller, you send out this postcard, and you say, hey, we had like 500 views, man, on this property. I think we'll get some momentum on this property. Well, make sure if you're gonna do that, use our trackable QR codes. So that way you can go back to the seller and say, hey, we had 5 people in this neighborhood that looked at your home already, whatever the case is, and here's their name, would you happen to know who they are? So it's just a little more insight than just a bunch of stats that don't really do anything, okay? So, the QR code can go to any of this stuff. Like earlier, I was saying something like, hey, if you wanted to grow your following, let's say I want to grow my following this summer, and I have a really great, I post every day on Instagram, right? Why not send a postcard out there and say, follow me on Instagram and find out more community news about Summerlin here. Scan this QR code. And when you scan the QR code again, we track it, we tell you who in Summerlin is going to start following you, right? So you can leverage this technology. It's not only for the home estimate, so it's not just a one-trick pony kind of thing.
So, if I remember back in the day, did you guys have websites? Didn't every card have a website on it?
Yeah,
Is that right? You go back in the old days?
Yeah, we built
Right?
websites,
They
yeah.
were on concrete flyers you had to send out.
Yeah.
And it was stamped in.
Yeah.
I can't, they weren't actually concrete. But yeah, I think there were websites back in the day.
Yeah.
They had their own significant one
Yeah,
for
we
each
did,
property.
and you would enter in like a key code. way
Yes,
back in the day.
yes.
Yeah, it was so, yeah, we dropped that, we try to pivot and,
Well,
we try to
I know
figure
you
it out.
got some stuff you
Yeah.
can do now, you can do a lot more than when I was doing it.
Yeah, but the elite program right here, this is the one thing I love about the elite program. You get to see what your campaign looks like every single month. You get an overview of what your campaign looks like, your brand. So you notice here, it's like, what's the first thing I kind of notice here? Probably agent's brand over time. This is what closes the sales cycle. You don't have to re-explain yourself every single time you something. When you start touching people every single month, over 12 months, trust me, they're gonna know your name, right? Because this is what people say, hey, you gotta be consistent. Now this person here, just to give you an idea, when I first started out with her, she's on this program now for 8 years. Her first size of her mailing was about 500. She currently does about 6,000 pieces a month right now, right? So you can look her up, she's actually a pretty good producing agent.
Question, because I'm not a big picture person, putting my picture on stuff. Would you everybody put their picture on it? Does everybody put their picture?
Yeah.
If you didn't put your picture on it, what would you put on it if you, like I'd feel weird putting my picture on it. I don't put my picture. I like that, a boat, car, right?
Maybe like your logo or something like that,
Yeah,
emphasize
because
that.
I wouldn't put my picture on a flyer anymore today.
Yeah.
That's not me, but I just wondered, what would you put on it? You didn't put a picture.
Check out the post office.
Right, yeah. But, well, you would be cool putting one picture, poster of yourself on it. Hey, that's, all right, yeah, that's trademark.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. I think nowadays a lot of people are even using avatars,
Right,
using
right.
a lot more, so.
I like this guy, got his jacket over his shoulder.
Hey, Jeff, since you don't like your picture to, put on the postcard, you can put my picture.
There you go, okay, put KJ on there. I'm gonna show up and go, what happened? Life's been good to you.
So yeah, if you work with teams, obviously, we build a team for you in other cases. Now let's talk about just a little bit about maximizing your listings. Again, I talk to people about this all the time, and I think, a lot of people don't do enough on their listings. Like, in a challenging market like this, if you have a listing, you gotta maximize the potential of it. And what I mean by that is, it's not just about the listing, it's about promoting yourself, right? So look at this. This is what I tell people all the time. You send out that just listed postcard, open house postcard, but prior to that, you should be sending out something like the neighbors only courtesy letter. That goes out to the surrounding maybe 50 homes around the subject property. And that courtesy letter says something like this: I'm helping your neighbors sell their home, and you're gonna hear a lot of noise, you're gonna see more traffic in the neighborhood. So please come by, we should give you a private tour of what we're doing to help your neighbor maximize the value of the property, whatever the case is. That's just the first time that the neighborhood's gonna get aware about that home coming onto the market, okay? And it creates tons of value. I say this because all my producing agents implement this in their listing package, right? The second thing out here that I notice, the broker's tour only. Relocation is a big deal out here, and I see it being done in luxury markets, but I don't see it in the medium markets down here. It doesn't get done that much. And I advise people, hey, develop your connections, whatever the case is, because you want to leverage those guys that have a network of buyers that's coming from out of state, whatever the case is. Now that's before you even get to the open house. So now you do the open house, right? A good number, 200, 300 postcards around the subject property. That is the best number you want to deal with. The broker's tour, like 50, 100 invites for them. So that is my kind of thing. And also, here's the last thing I wanted to mention to people over here. Send out that just sold card. It's probably the most powerful card. I can't stress, people get so stuck on, hey, I gotta sell this listing, whatever the case is. And yes, you do. You're gonna drive more traffic by doing this stuff to that open house. The only problem is that you don't tell people you sold it. People know the minute they see and this is a really good strategy for your sphere of influence. They need to know that you're actually actively selling and listing homes. That someone actually trusted you with that listing, and you promote it, you had a great marketing plan. And on the just sold, I always tell people there's 3 things you want to emphasize. How long did it take for you to sell that home? Was it within 30 days? So ask yourself this question: was it 30 days? Did you sell it with multiple offers, right? And did you sell it over listing price? A lot of this comes down to strategy as well. Earlier, like Jeff mentioned, underpricing a home, whatever the case is, to drive more traffic, to that particular property. But it's those 3 things. If you could put any one of those 3 things onto your postcard, that would really help. Okay.
Those were my 2 favorites. That's exactly what I did. Just listed and just sold were the 2 things that I did all the time.
Huge. And this is, I have like a lot of people who market like an area, like let's say Summerlin. You're gonna get a lot of business that's gonna come from the referral side business, whatever the case is. That's gonna come out of, it's not gonna be in Summerlin. What a lot of agents do is what they do is they say, hey, I want to grow my business. I love Summerlin. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send out my just listed postcards and my just sold postcard. It could be another pocket area that's close to Summerlin. And once they do that, they'll see if they can pick up another listing. And when they do that, they'll say, hey, you know what? I got like a transaction in this area. What I'm gonna do is expand my farm area and start marketing this area. And that's how they develop that. Instead of just going, hey, I like that area, I'm gonna go market that area. Like, have a proven track record and momentum in that space to finally say, hey, if I'm not getting any business here, should I start moving or should I invest in another territory or neighborhood? And so they kind of use that over time. That's why a lot of these agents that we work with, sometimes they're all over the whole damn city, right? So, last thing is this thing. It's our the listing presentation. And a lot of this is, we have a little high-end products, whatever the case is, and it's all about presentation for the luxury side. And really, foil, varnish, it's all these things here that kind of make this thing really stand out. You guys just got to see here.
And you guys, there's samples over there as well that you guys can take.
Yeah, and a lot of this stuff, there's 4 tabs on here. Everything from your marketing samples, maybe buyer booklets, things like this that you guys will see. Right. So we have stuff like this, booklets, buyer guide, seller's guide.
I'll take and pass them out.
And these things are, you know, the booklets right here, this is what I call marketing fluff. I don't like to say that a lot, but when I say that is because every agent does it. Every agent is gonna go through the whole sales process, and it's nothing different. Like when I moved out here and bought a home, whatever the case was, you know, I interviewed a couple of agents. I didn't go with the first agent I went with. I went with the agent with the best marketing plan. Because you know what? I'm in an area where I work with a lot of branding companies. I work with a lot of other cases. I can see when someone puts effort and time into really developing a good plan. And so people want to see that proof of production. This is just a postcard, what you've done before in the past, things like that. They're not looking for like, they want to say, hey, is this person going to maximize the potential of my home because they have a great marketing plan? Or are you going to show up and do what I call the realtor marathon track listing presentation? And I went through a listing presentation with my wife. It was 96 slides I went through.
Wow.
And I looked at her, I go, it's an hour and a half, 2 hours, we haven't even talked about the list price yet. And the crazy thing was, I had another agent that was gonna come in, and we looked at each other, we said, this is like 4 hours now, this is gonna be a 4-hour presentation. A lot of people with this listing presentation, what they'll do, they'll drop it off before the meeting, before the listing presentation. That way, when I go there, I'm not talking about, you can see how my marketing looks. I don't have to justify how I'm gonna market your property, whatever the case is. And when I get there, I can have a concise conversation and tell you about the market and maybe anticipate a list price and give you a nice list price. It's all positioned for you by the time you get there already. This thing's teeing you up by the time you get to the listing presentation. What a lot of people do is they don't prep for that. And they show up to the listing presentation and it's a 3-hour presentation. People don't have time for it. Right? So that's a little bit about who we are. I have a couple samples, all that stuff over here. You guys are welcome to grab that.
I'll play Vanna.
Well,
Now, there's more.
Looks pretty cool, right? So.
Oh, shit.
No,
I took food out of my hand. They wanted to go on a listing. Any questions, you guys? Cost.
Yeah.
Always cost.
Cost, sure. So let's say postcards in general. If you guys talking about postcards, regular postcards, like the ones that I was showing you for Elite, if you mail, let's just say 500 postcards, you're looking at 86 cents, I think, a postcard, including that whole print, mail, postage, that trackable system, everything in that system right there for 84 cents an hour.
And they do everything. And like I said, you guys, I used to do it. My assistant would put it, you could download it, she would take it. That's easier now than it was back then.
Yeah.
And she did it out, we done. The thing that I think we run into a lot of times, you guys, is that we're trying, I get it, we're on to save money, I understand that. But is your time selling properties or putting stamps on a flyer? Right, I mean, that's the problem I see is we're spending, when you're making $400 an hour and you're doing $10 an hour putting stamps on something, you need to think about where your priorities are at. And this, like I said, it took us a while before we jumped into this. But once we did it every month, 500 every month for 5 years. And guys, I'm telling you, I still believe this stuff works. I know there's gonna be agents who say it doesn't, but I believe it does. Any
Quick
questions?
question.
Please,
What's your best discount code right now?
10%.
It's that 10% RG first gen. We have monthly discounts that can be probably like 5% off in some cases. Every now and then there'll be like, like a flash sale or something like that. If you're looking to sign up for like the Elite campaign, I think Realty One has like $100 off the setup, and generally it's like, I believe it's like $399, but for you guys I think it's like $200 for the setup. Yeah, more discounts. Yeah, I think other things too, just maybe of.
Like, it's good asking, good.
Yeah, if you're.
Hey man, I use them all the time.
Absolutely.
Every listing.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh,
I like this one.
Yeah.
what's that?
This one looks nice.
Yeah.
We're supposed to pass these around.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
I was
sure.
like, I was showing.
I have a couple more
We
here.
got some more samples.
I just wanted them to know that we were showing yours.
Hey, you guys, real quick, Chio's gonna hang around for a minute so you can ask him questions. I got just a couple things I'm gonna finish up and then we'll bounce out of here. I am not a computer guy, you know that, so let's see if I can get this figured out. It should go right back together.
No, I think it's wrong. No. The thing is, a couple of things is like wrapped up.
farming, but it's the first time I learned it.
Okay. All right, guys, here we go.
Okay.
All right, so we're doing VCE class Friday, 9 o'clock right here. There's a link on the bottom. You have it in your book if you want to do the free VCE class. This will be the last one for this month. We're going to do 2 more next month. They've been very, very good, well attended, 30 plus people in each one. So it's been really good. We're going to do, again, one for this Friday, 9 o'clock, and then 2 more next month. As a matter of fact, he sent me the dates. I forgot to give you guys. But we'll organize the dates so you guys will know. We'll have breakfast. It's a good class. It satisfies your live classes as well as the required classes. So make sure you're hitting that. This is our one-day celebration. Today is the last day to RSVP with the girls for your shirt size. We are collecting stuff right, where'd our box go? Right there. We're collecting supplies for these two. This is school supplies. And it says right on there, I think the girls outlined a little bit what it is.
Glue sticks, Kleenex, trifold folders, notepads, colored packs of markers, hand sanitizers, unisex backpacks, gift cards under 15, and great t-shirts.
And you guys, there's also a link on Amazon.
Yes, it's on our Facebook group. If you don't want to go shopping, you can just shop on our Amazon
Yeah,
list.
and they'll send it right to us, you guys, it's for a worthy cause. And then the best thing, on May 1st, Thursday, I think it is, we are going to the Green Valley office. Kuba's gonna be there, several dignitaries from the state. There's a proclamation in hand. We're gonna have food and drinks, so some of the other executives are gonna be there, guys. It's gonna be a lot of fun. If you've been to a Kuba party, you know they don't screw around. That's gonna be May 1st. Again, reach out to the girls for shirt size. We'll have a couple other shirts as well. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's our 20-year anniversary. And remember, our summit is this May. This year, November 2nd to the 5th in Miami. If you guys are going, we do have links and stuff for hotels. It's our 20-year anniversary, and if you've been to one of our events, it's going to be off the hook. I know what's his name is Tony Robbins is going to be one of our guest speakers. Yeah, and so every year, you guys, we got Shaquille O'Neal. I can't think of all the people that have been there. So it's going to be off the hook. So start planning for it if you're going to want to go to it. We do have a couple private offices that are available. If somebody wants them, you can share them as well. No long-term commitment. Southwest is doing a baseball deal on the May 2nd, which is the day Friday after our one day. And you can RSVP with them at Summerlin. It's pretty cool. They send us a little area off to the side, and I think it includes some food as well. And we've got a really nice spec section over there. So if you want to do any of that, that'll be there as well. Next week we'll be doing Kahoot, which is a hoot. If you haven't done Kahoot, Kahoot's a hoot. We're going to do it. I think we're going to do some on. I was thinking about it. I haven't told the girls this, so I just tell them right now. I want to do some of it on the Code of Ethics. We talked about the Code of Ethics last week at the CE class, and I said to everybody there, probably 30 people there, raise your hands if you've ever read the Code of Ethics. Chirp, 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 crickets. Nobody had read it.
I gotta read it.
Yeah, I went through the whole thing several times. So anyway, we're gonna do some on that, but it's a lot of fun if you haven't done it, guys. It's a Kahoot's a hoot. Katie, what am I missing? Anything?
That's it.
For those of you who don't know, just real quick, if you don't know this yet, but you do now, Mackenzie has decided to start working part-time.
What?
Yeah, so she's working from like 11 to 4. So it's just Katie and myself holding down the fort. They're still doing compliance and all that stuff. So just bear with her a little bit. If you somehow you can't get a hold of somebody because she still has to take her breaks by law and all that kind of stuff. So, but she's still doing an amazing job.
If it's important, please email me.
Yes, if it's important, please email. But she's doing a great job holding the fort down. Any other thing I missed? All right, guys, that's it. Thanks so much for coming. Appreciate you.
Kenzie's birthday is this Saturday, so if you want to wish her happy birthday on the way down.
She's old enough to drink now.
She's 24, she's been old. But,
Whose birthday?
Kenzie.
Chio's gonna be here as well, you guys, if you want to talk.